Hello, TFO faithful, and welcome to the TFO 2025 13A and 13 regular season recap. We have an epic night in store for you tonight. I hope you are prepared and ready. I am the TFO Commish, celebrating 13 years of excellencia. The Raj, what a dual season we had this year. We had 8 weeks of season 13 and then a break. And then Rick Pittman, the mysterious stranger, used his TVA powers to create an alternate timeline, another dimension, where the TFO battled, but offenses and defenses were all switcherooed. The 13A, and that is what has just ended the last half of this season, the 13A portion. And so that is what we will talk about first here tonight. We will be going over the season standings for 13A, both for the bad and the mad. We're going to look at the playoff picture for both of those leagues. And then we have so much more in store tonight, because now with 13A being complete, that means the entirety of the TFO 2025 season, regular season that is, has come to an end. And so tonight we will also be discussing the bad and mad Pro Bowlers along with the 2025 MVPs. We'll also be revealing the 2025 TFO Fantasy Football Champion. And then you will get the Raj's Pro Playoff predictions. We may even have a few guests come in tonight. So strap in and strap on, as Stryker would say. And let's start off with looking at the Season 13A bad. First, divisional champions, the Vought Dads, a.k.a. the Vought Daddies, almost going undefeated, but losing that very last game. Another divisional champion, this is the Badass Crackle champion, the Greek Wrestling. I mean, if anyone knows how to wrestle, it's the Greeks. And then you have the Badass Pop divisional champion, the NES JDF, 3 initials, 2 names, 1 champion. And then over on the bad guys, Snap, the TFO Real Scumbags. Oh my gosh, they were scummy. Congratulations. The All Elite Rings. They are the bad guy Crackle, divisional champion. They got all the rings. And then finally, the bad guy Pop divisional champion, Flying to Kill. They soared high. And so here is the bad 13A 2025 standings here. You see the Vought Daddies, they're 7-1, but don't forget about the shows. They're going to get a wild card. The Greek Legends, they were able to best out their division, and then the NES JDF, and then the Lord of the Ducks, they tied, but Lord of the Ducks getting in with a wild card there. On the other side, you got those Real Scumbags winning their division. No wild cards there. But the All Elite Rings winning their division with the Marvel Legends getting a wild card. And then Flying to Kill winning their division with the Legendary getting that last wild card. And there is the brackets for you. There is the badass side. And there is the bad guy side. The 13A. Bam, there it is. The bad 13A playoff picture. The brackets are right there. A lot of great teams making it into this 13A bad bowl championship. One of these teams will win the Bad Bowl, and they will go on to face the Mad representative in the Mind F Bowl. And so we got to look at the other side. We got to look at the 13A Mad. First, you got the Mad Dog Snap Division champion, the stupid WWE Irish 2 previous TFO champions coming together there. Division champion Venture Dragons getting that Mad Dog Crackle Division champion. Way to go. Then there's the Season Rambos, Mad Dog Pop Division Champion. It's Christmas time somewhere. The divisional champion on the other side. Now we got Mad Max Snap, the Intellivision Logs. They went undefeated. Never before has a non-VOT team ever done that. And division champion 80s Knights, getting that Mad Max Crackle divisional championship. Way to go, 80s Knights. And then finally, the Mad Max Pop divisional champion, Not A Toys, getting that crown. And here is your 2025 Season 13A Mad standings. First, we see the stupid WWE Irish 6-2 with the Square squeaking in there with a wild card. Then the Venture Dragons winning their division. The Letterkenny and Rap tied, but they will have to settle for a wild card. And then Season Rambo held on with a live grenade to win their division. The Intellivision Logs undefeated, but the Utah Beatings able to get a wild card there. 80s Knights winning their division. Only one loss with the Giant Angles getting that other wild card, and then A-Toys holding off to win their division. And here's the Mad Dog brackets right there for you. They'll meet in the middle for the Mad Bowl 13A championship, and there is the Mad Max side of the equation. And bam, there is your Season 13A Mad bracket right here. Two of these teams will meet in the Mad Bowl. One will be victorious and move on to face the bad 13A representative in the Season 13A Mind F Bowl that will air live at the TFO Championship, baby! You know what else is going to air at the TFO Championship? Boom! The TFO Pro Bowl. And so whatever team you played on does not matter. These players played 16 games. That is a full season. So they get both their 13 and 13A combined for their season stats. And so this Pro Bowl is going by those season stats. We're not having two Pro Bowls. We're not having a Season 13 and a Season 13A Pro Bowl. We're having one, the 2025 Pro Bowl, both 13 and 13A. And let's now see who will be representing their leagues. First with the bad. And drumroll, bam! What a roster. Quarterback P. Diddy of the Scum with backup Homelander. Running back wise, they have Zapper Orange, the Wolverine, and Saquon Barkley. Wide receiver wise, you see the deep Takeshi 6'9" and the backup of Bethany Frankel. Tight end wise, they got Strawberry Fields and the Lamplighter. And that offensive line of Zord, Dragon Zord, It's Your Mom, Mike Stone, Hawks, and S. Demetrius. Defense-wise, on that D-line, there's Michael Wardlow, Deluxe Joy Ball, and Hell God Hades. Linebacker-wise, Prince Hector, Allen Stanford, Starlight, and Red Foreman. He's gonna put his foot up someone's ass. Cornerback-wise, we got Al Capone and the Jay-Z, and safeties, Emmy Martinez and Kamiko. The backups there, Love Sausage, Zach Braun, Captain Marvel, and Julie Gaffney. Special team-wise, kicker King Theoden, punter Sloppy Joe, kick returner P. Speedboard, and punt returner Deuce Staley, with the backups being Bruno Fernandez, Jan Oblek, Ray Rice, and Rainmaker Okada. And the breakdown of the numbers, the most offensive bad bad Pro Bowlers goes to VOT International. They have 3. Defensive-wise, VOT also has 3, and then tied with the Millionaire Scumbags. And then Soccer World has 2 special teams. But total-wise, VOT International and the Millionaire Scumbags both coming out with 6 each. Now let's look over at the Mad-wise quarterback George Plimpton of the Intellivision. What a season he had. Peter Tom Willis is the backup there. Running back-wise, they got Dexter Doyley, Battle Cat, and Brock Sampson. Wide receiver-wise, it's Boo Halloween, D20, and Mae Young's hand. Tight ends, Night Stalker, and T Thanksgiving, with an O-line of Article Board, Pound Puppies, Pablo Cruz, John Layfield, and O two-hander. Defense, we got that D-line of the Stone, Kevin, and Mother's Day. We got the linebackers, Sub Hunt, David Bowie's Form, Mr. T, and Cinco de Mayo. Cornerback-wise, Detective Lee and Kwanzaa. Safety-wise, Dungeons and Dragons and the Phantom Limb. Backups, we have Tanis, Neo Geo, Your Mom, and Brawl for All. Special teams kicker, the Air of Colt. Punter, Skinwalker. Kick returner, Jefferson Twilight. And punt returner, Bonsai, Panjoda. The backups there, Frogbog, Mel Gibson, Paige Turner, and the Animal. Looking at the numbers, many teams had 2 offensive Pro Bowlers, including the Logs, the Toys, Seasons Beatings, and in television. Defense-wise, though, Season Beatings also coming in with 3 defenders, and special team-wise, anybody with a special team tied there because they all had 1. But when it comes to the total overall, 80s Toys tying with Seasons Beatings, both of them securing 5 Pro Bowlers for this upcoming 2025 Pro Bowl season. And with those Pro Bowlers come MVPs, the most valuable players. It's really the best player at that position this season. And again, this is combining Season 13A and Season 13. The stats matter. The numbers have been combined. And now we're ready to award some MVP, starting with the bad. First, bad offensive MVP, quarterback P. Diddy of the Millionaire Scumbags. You know, he's fighting in court. He had a lot of good victories this week, but no victory greater than receiving this bad offensive MVP award. Defensive MVP for bad going to the inside linebacker, Starlight of Vought International. And then the bad special teams MVP, kick returner, Pressman Speedboard of the NES Doodads. We did try to get a word with the victorious P. Diddy being bad offensive MVP. He sent us this picture of him with his good friend and runner-up to the MVP, Homelander. And Mr. Diddy was quoted as saying, "Not all superheroes wear capes. Some wear baby oil." Congratulations, P. Diddy. You are now a TFO MVP. And some more MVPs. Let's go to the Mad. Boom! Mad offensive MVP running back Dexter Doyley of the Logs, tearing up all kinds of records this season. Dexter Doyley walking away with most rushing yards, 5,296 yards, almost 5,300 yards, most rushing touchdowns, 81 touchdowns, most rushing reception touchdowns for a running back, 85. Just a total beast this season was Dexter Doyley. Also, most TDs for a player. He walked away with 85 touchdowns, and most yards of a player. That combines rushing, receiving, kick returning, and punt returning. He had 6,174 yards. Just a total beast this season for Dexter Doyley. The defensive Mad MVP, Dungeons and Dragons of 80s Toys. I think it was either the first or second game of Season 13A. The Dungeons and Dragons came out there with 2 touchdown interception returns, really sealing the deal at that point as being one of the greatest defensive MVPs ever. And special team-wise, we've got kick returner Jefferson Twilight of the Venture Industries. I believe he came out with 7 kick return touchdowns on the season, where his nearest competitor had 4. He really slayed those vampires and slayed those touchdowns. Congratulations, everyone, with their MVPs. We did reach out to Dexter Doyley for a comment, and here is that comment from Dexter Doyley, running back of the Logs and the Square, and the TFO 2025 Mad Offensive MVP.
Hey fans, this here's Dexter Doyley, this year's TFO MVP and record-breaking running back. Right now, I'm just taking a little vacation, twirling around up in my silver flying disc, observing y'all from a distance. Anyways, I'll be back for the playoffs, and I'm gonna break my foot off in all y'all asses. Peace out, bitches.
All right, now let's reveal the TFO 2025 Fantasy Football Champion. Fantasy football was interesting this season as we allowed season 13 to run for its entire 8 weeks. And then during the mid-season bye, that's when we drafted the players because we had the stats from their first 8-week games. And we drafted and we did a fantasy football over 13A. So these fantasy numbers that you're going to see are only related to season 13A. It is not a combination of both. And it was one of the closest TFO fantasy football finales we have ever had. But as records have been broken this year, there is a new one that has been set. For you see, Bobby has done it. He is the first ever player to win back-to-back TFO Fantasy Football Championships. He won it last year, and now he has won it this year, and he has advised me that he will be putting perfection on the blimp for 2026. Congratulations, Bobby. I believe I tried to get a comment with him, but he's too busy. He's on press tour. The perfection commercial, the brand, the cologne, everything has just exploded. The entrepreneur he is, the Shark Tank, Bobby Lesher. He's out there hawking his wares. Congratulations, Bobby. You can see it there. I put Bobby and John's teams up there so you can see how close it was. And it was under 100 points going into that week, and that's what it ended up being after it was all said and done. Look at it, so close. I ended up 4th. What a hell of a season. Again, congratulations, Bobby, our TFO 2025 Fantasy Football Champion. Now, let us take a look at the playoffs, and then I will give you my professional picks, my pro picks, as the greatest Tecmo everything of all time. The Raj. That's me. All right, let's look at, boom! Here's the 13A bracket for bad. All right? And here is my picks. Boom! So you can see the wild card on the left there. You got the Housewives taking on Lord of the Ducks. And while I think Lord of the Ducks is such a bad-ass name, those Savage Housewives, especially near the end of the season there, they were really firing on all cylinders. And I think they're going to hoe their way past the Ducks. But then they're going to come up to those Vot Daddies, and Daddy is going to put Housewife in the corner and going to go on to that ass championship, taking on who I think is going to be the Greek wrestling. What a season they have had, the Greek offense with the all-elite defense. But it all comes to an end when Daddy puts you in the corner. I think Vought Daddies are going to end up in the Bad Bowl. And on the bad guys' side, you can see the wild card game there, the Headshotas, the legendary Headshotas, taking on the Marvel Legends. Wolverine is such a beast. I think he's not only going to win the wild card game, but I think he's going to take those scumbags, those TFO real scumbags, and show them what a real scumbag is. Logan, what a scumbag, going all the way to that guy championship, and he's going to take on the All Elite Rings. Oh, man, AEW and Lord of the Rings coming together in one team, flying high. I mean, that game is probably the hardest game for me to call. That is probably a coin flip, but I have gone with the Rings, but it doesn't matter because the Marvel Legends I think are going to end up as the guy champion. So I believe the 13A bad championship is going to be the Vaught Dads taking on the Marvel Legends. And I say the winner will be the Vaught Dads. I mean, look, the TV Dads offense was not that great this season. It really, really wasn't. But their defense shined. And so when they were able to connect with a really good offense like the Vaught International has had this season, it was a match made in heaven. And I think the Vaught Dads are going to go to that season 13A championship. The Mad Bracket, bam! For 13A, my predictions, there's the brackets. Let's look at my picks. Boom! There we go on the left. The Mad Dog, the wild card matchup, the Square taking on Letterkenny and Rap. This is another hard game. This is another coin flip, I really believe. But Dexter Doyley has just been on another level. He's come from a spaceship. He's gone back in time twice. And now his timeline variant here, I think, is going to take and just own that NRAP defense. But if NRAP can wrap him up, Letterkenny could take it. But I think the wild card's going to go to the Square. But it's not going to matter because another measuring stick team here, the stupid WWE Irish, I think are going to take that matchup against the Square. Just two legendary TFO champions coming together for one team. And, man, they've been dominant. Up there at the top, the Dragons taking on Rambos. I think the Dragons with the venture offense, oh yeah, they've been doing hot with Jefferson Twilight. So hot, I think not only are they going to beat the season Rambos, but I think they're going to get what some are going to consider a big upset against the stupid WWE Irish. And I think it's going to be those venture Dragons in the Mad Bowl. And who are they going to take on? Well, in the Mad Max wildcard, we can see the Giant Angles taking on the Utah Beatings. That is going to be another close game. I gave the edge to the Utah Beatings. But again, it's not going to matter who the wild card winner is because the winner has to face the undefeated Intellivision Logs. You know, Doyley gets all the love about the Logs, but that Logs defense paired with the Intellivision offense has been super powerful. So I think they're going to beat the Utah Beatings and then go into the Mad Max Championship, and they're going to face the 80s Knights, I believe. I think 80s Knights is going to take on Not a Toys. Two Tim Henrique's teams there. Tim Henrique's offense taking on his defense. So he wins no matter what. But I think the 80s Knights is the stronger of the two teams. But Intellivision Logs, undefeated. What a season they have had. And I think George Pimple Plimpton, he's going to pop. And he's going to score. And he's going to take him to that Mad Bowl. So I think the season 13A Mad Bowl will be the Venture Dragons taking on the Intellivision Logs. And who's going to win? Well, my pick is, boom, the Intellivision Logs. I just said it. No other team other than Vaught International has gone undefeated in TFO. Vaught did it 2 seasons in a row, and then the Intellivision Logs sneak it in. It looked like the Vaught Daddies were going to get it there at the end, too, but Vaught Daddies getting one loss out there. But that means that I believe that the Vaught Daddies are actually going to take on the Intellivision Logs here, and I think that story writes itself. You know, Vaught Daddies looking to go undefeated, just like Vaught International. They tripped up there at the end, and Intellivision Logs win it. They get all the glory of being the undefeated team from Season 13A. It should have been Vaught, right? The timeline. Season 13, they were undefeated, but Season 13A, the timeline was twisted just a little bit. Just a little bit by Rick Pittman. You can blame Pittman for this shit, damn it. It's all his fault. He did this. He did this. But what he didn't do was the Season 13 results. So let's real quickly, where's my mouse? There it is. Let's real quickly look at what the Season 13 results were. Here was my predictions for the bad, where I said that I believe that License to Kill will beat the Millionaire Scumbags for the bad championship. And then on the mad side, I predicted that the 80s Knights, the 80s Toys, are going to take on the current reigning, defending Letterkenny Irish and a Season 12 championship rematch. But it's not for the championship. It is for the Mad Bowl championship. And I think the 80s toys are going to get their retribution. They're going to get their revenge. And so, that puts us at Saturday, August 9th. Live at the Federal, 110 West Federal, Youngstown, Ohio. For the first time in TFO history, we will be having the TFO Championship, both TFO Championships at the Federal. We've had many events at the Federal. We've had Blitz Championships. We've had TFO season kickoffs. We've had all kinds of events, but normally it is the 16-bit bar and arcade on 4th Street here in Columbus, Ohio, that we have these championships. That closed down earlier this year, unfortunately. And the Federal, the Mecca, the greatness, the awesomeness, the pilgrimage will occur. And the championships will occur August 9th, Saturday. And I believe the Pro Bowl will also be shown here, by the way. So we'll have the Pro Bowl, but I believe that we will be seeing the Mind F Bowl, being the Vought Daddies taking on those Intellivision logs. And then I believe to end all of this, finally, the timelines converge back into one. We have gone through Rick Pittman's trials and tribulations. We are almost at the end, and the very last thing that will occur is the Doom Bowl, and it will finally bring us back into cohesion, back to the correct timeline, and I think it's going to be License to Kill taking on the 80s toys. And just so we're clear, both winners here will be declared as official TFO champions. There are 2 champions that will be crowned at the Federal, the first time ever, the largest TFO championship in TFO history. It doesn't get any bigger than this. And so there's only one stop left, and that is the postseason. I will be sharing information shortly on when wildcard games will start airing. And then after some wildcard games, we'll make some announcements on when we will be airing those other games. I'm going to do some live specials, so you can expect those at some point. I just got to find out when exactly the time will be for those. My plan is to have all games aired by Saturday, the 26th, July 26th. The reason for that is I want to give a solid week before the championship, so if anybody wants to make plans and whatnot, they have a little extra time to do so. So I appreciate you guys going through the tribulations of Rick Pittman this season. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope this was a lot of fun. This was definitely different than what we've done previously. Every season has a different theme or a different change, and this was a big one. But I think everybody had a little bit of fun. We had a full season, 2 full seasons in one. It's been amazing. It has been wonderful. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Closing us out here, I have a special message from our current reigning and defending TFO champion. Here is the measuring stick. Here is the king.
That's right. It's time for the TFO Season 13 end of season review. And the only thing missing from this little chessboard is the most important piece, and that is the king. I am the best in the Midwest. I am your current and 2-time TFO champion. I am the measuring stick, Mike Petrosic, and I'm better than you, and you know it. Well, here we are yet again. It's summertime. The weather's warming up. The beer's on ice and getting colder. And it's time for the TFO playoffs. Of course, I am your current and back-to-back champion. You all know that. You all admire me. Some of you flat out envy me. There's no denying that. You also can't deny that, once again, my Letterkenny Irish are poised to make a run in the playoffs and find ourselves in the championship game yet again. Despite the deck being stacked against me this season. The Raj doesn't like the fact that I've won 2 times in a row, and he tried to mix things up, tried to screw me over, if you will. Granted, I didn't win my division. That's okay. That's on me for drafting incorrectly, but my team's ready. I think my team's poised, just ready to make a run at it. It doesn't matter if it's Bobby, if it's Tim, if it's whoever. The Irish are proven winners, and we're going to do it again. And on top of that, we have the season 13A thing going on, and I was lucky enough to be paired up with a former TFO champion and Frank Baylog. Our team's been looking good. And on the other side of that, I've not so lucky and got paired up with Bodenheimer's trash defense, but that's okay. The Letterkenny Irish on that team are one of the top, if not the top offenses. We're going to do our best, so I may even become a 4-time back-to-back TFO champion. If it happens, just put the crown on me. I'll ride off into the sunset, and you may never hear from me again. At least, I don't know, maybe. I mean, when you're this great, you can't walk away from it. Jordan did it, but I'm better than Jordan. Anyway, best of luck to everyone in the playoffs. You're gonna need it, and just pray that you don't run into the Irish.